Hi, I'm Melanie Carter.
And I'm Dominique Bergevin. Welcome to Trade Talk.
Today we're talking about the fast approaching trade agreement with the European Union, Canada's second largest trading partner, which is being referred to as CETA. CETA stands for Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, and when it comes into effect in 2016, it will mean that virtually all tariffs between Canada and the 28 EU countries will be gone.
Obviously, this has huge implications for Canadian exporters. Here are a few fast facts on the business impact of the New Deal. The EU is the world's largest single economy with over 500 million people, creating about $17 trillion worth of economic activity annually. Canada does almost $90 billion worth of trade with the EU each year, an amount which is expected to grow up to 20% once the agreement comes into effect. Under CETA, Canada will be the only G8 country to have preferential access to the world's two largest markets, the US and the EU.
Jason Myers is President and CEO of the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters Association, and I recently had a chance to ask him what CETA will mean for his members.
Well, you know, I've called this trade agreement the Wayne Gretzky of trade deals, and I did that because I think it's, number one, it's a great trade deal. It's a great one. But number two is because it goes to where the puck will be in international business. So it's not just about tariff reduction. It's about regulatory cooperation. It's about open procurement markets. It's about the movement of business personnel between Canada and Europe. It's all about making it easier for companies to certify their products in the European market, because they'll be able to meet European standards, test European standards, and certify products here in Canada. I can guarantee you, in the next 20 years, there will be no other country in the world that has the scope of access that we will have to both through Canada, to both Europe and the United States.
So the trade agreement will benefit a lot of Canadian companies, but is there a sector in particular that would benefit most from CETA?
I see opportunities in food. I see it in fish. I see it in. I see the opportunities in building products, as well as some of the, the electronics and the IT and the advanced services that we provide. So it's right across the sector, but it's primarily in new technology. Don't go into Europe because of the trade agreement. Go into Europe because there's a commercial advantage. Go into Europe because you're finding new technology. Go into Europe because you see new customers that you can offer a solution to, and there are 500,000 new consumers out there that this market will open to us. Those are the reasons to go into Europe.
There are 28 separate countries in the EU, and the CETA agreement will open the doors for Canadian exporters to do business in all of them.
Some of those economies are more developed than others, and doing business in certain markets comes with risks. Export Development Canada has experts both in Europe and here at home who can help companies seize opportunities and mitigate risk in doing business in Europe.
Barbara Greenfield, a senior advisor in the agri-food sector, is one of these people, and I had a chance to talk with her about the upcoming opportunities of CETA. So I understand that CETA will be offering huge opportunities in the agri-food industry. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, there are often tariffs on almost every food item when there's trade between two countries. And so having a free trade agreement where a lot of those tariffs are going to go down to zero is a huge advantage in terms of the difference between the day before and the day after the agreement is signed.
Perfect. And so lower tariffs, what will that represent for Canadian companies in the agri-food industry? What kind of opportunities will that give them?
Well, in our view, looking at categories of food where you have high growth already in Europe and where we have a trade surplus, you can see certain categories are going to do well. So those, in our view, would be any of the maple products, cookies, cookie mixes, and soups as well.
Interesting. So CETA will give these type of opportunities. Tell me how companies can be prepared to be able to take advantage of all of these opportunities that will be brought forward by CETA.
So one of the things we recommend is establishing your supply chain network, or working on your supply chain network to make sure that it's as efficient as possible, and also letting your partners know up, your suppliers and the people that you're selling to, how things are going, when you expect bigger orders, keep them in the loop so that when you do need some extra support because you've got good orders, that support is in place for you already.
That's great advice. Any last word that you would want to give on that subject?
The other thing is, Europeans are always looking, number one on their list is healthy food. So if your product has a health benefit, make sure it's clear to the consumer what it is. And if you can do anything to your product to increase the health benefits, then now's the time to do that as well.
As Barbara mentioned, CETA will bring many opportunities for Canadian exporters, but not all sectors will benefit equally.
Exactly. So obviously she mentioned that the agri-food sector would benefit, but also we think that the IT sector will benefit from this trade agreement, given that we all know that the EU is quite advanced in terms of technology. So our Canadian technology capabilities would probably tie in nicely into their market.
And as tempting as it might be once the agreement is in place, not all companies should go to Europe to start doing business there.
Exactly. You need to do your homework, right? You need to make sure that your goods or services are in fact marketable in the EU.
And that there will be a customer there willing to buy your goods or services.
Absolutely. So we do try to help with matchmaking opportunities between Canadian companies and EU companies. So please check out the website entitled enterprisecanada.network.ca. It was specifically developed to connect Canadian SMEs to European opportunities.
If you'd like to download a copy of our guide on trade agreements, go to edc.ca/free trade.
Thanks for watching. I'm Melanie Carter.
And I'm Dominique Bergevin. Until next time, keep talking trade.